The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the show. This show is brought to you by those good people at Levi Solicitors. Michael Normanton, tell me some stuff that Levi's can do for the greatest listeners on the planet, please.
Or potentially for people who might be moving to Leeds,
right?
Who are signing contracts, needing a place. They could do some conveyancing for them.
Yeah, they could.
Hopefully they won't need any dispute stuff because Leeds United would be great to work with. But if you want to buy a house, you can do that. Levi Solicitors will do that for you. They'll do it with a 10% discount if you listen to this podcast.
And if you go to where? How can they find
LeviSolicitors.co.uk/thesquareball.
That is exactly right. That was borderline professional from you, Michael.
Thanks very much.
Oh, he's nailing it. It's all over it. So welcome to the show. A little bit of a half and half show this. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But we've got some actual news to start with, or some certainly potential news. Chris, I'll come to you on this. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. This seemed to come out of nowhere a little bit across the last couple of days. Is this because Muniz has decided to shuffle over to Italy? Do we want Calvert-Lewin? Talk to me.
Can I start with saying I never really cared for Muniz.
All right.
And this isn't me saying,
Pashao as well, didn't want him.
Well, I would quite have liked Pashao. I was never really bothered with the concept of spending £40 million on someone who'd scored 8 goals last season in the Premier League.
Yeah.
You know? But Calvert-Lewin, it's a bit of a weird one. Whenever I first saw it, I just thought it's odd that Leeds preached for months and months about how they'd spent so much time working on the window, and they seemed to be signing a lot of players with sort of smaller reputations, therefore not big wages. And then in the middle of August, they've just gone for a free agent striker who you would assume is probably on a 6-figure salary.
Was on a 6-figure salary, you'd say.
Yeah, but
the fact he's still available at this point would maybe indicate he's been forced to take less. I don't know.
He's hardly going to go from 120 or 150 to like 60 grand a week.
8 grand I would give him a year.
Yeah. So that plus his injury record, which actually isn't that much worse than Muniz's, but it's more sort of fitness over the last 4 years and last 2 years that I would worry about, and kind of just the fall off in the last few years feels a little bit desperate. But if he's fit, it's the striker that fits the bill of what Leeds are looking for.
Yeah, possibly. Is it not? I mean, I'm sat in Dan's chair and I'm going to use one of Dan's favourite phrases. Is it not the optics around getting so late into the window and then going, he's available, he's free, so we'll have him, versus someone we've courted for 40 million across the last couple of months? Are the optics of that is that what's maybe wrangling with Leeds fans a little bit, because it looks like a bit of desperation at this point?
I mean, we have known that Calvert-Lewin's been available all summer.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah. But maybe it's one of those things where at the start of, in January, whenever he knew he was leaving, maybe he was asking for 200 grand a week. Then it became 150. Then Leeds were like, give us a ring when you get to this figure. And he's got to, a few days before the season starts, and he's gone, no, actually, yeah, probably do need a club. I mean, there are financial aspects to this, clearly, because if we're not paying a fee for him, it does free up money elsewhere. Even with if we accept he's on fairly big wages, Muniz would have been on big money too. So we're spreading the cost of that across 3-4 years. We don't know any contract details yet, do we? We just heard it was Ornstein, wasn't it? Said broke the news about the medical yesterday. So it is a cheap option, but it feels a bit like we've already got Metcher, who was a cheap option, potentially off the bench. We've already got Bamford, who we've said we're not having because he's injured too much, and he feels like he falls within that bracket, probably. But a few years ago, we'd have been delighted with this, wouldn't we?
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's not a few years ago.
No.
I don't know. Whenever I saw it at the time, it just felt like we were swapping Bamford, who is injured quite a bit, on big wages and has a quite poor scoring record, for someone who is injured quite a bit, big wages, poor scoring record. But the more I see it, like, there's definitely pros and cons to it. I don't really give a shit about the optics, because I'm not in the Leeds United boardroom. But I have also just not been in any way invested about Muniz all summer, and there's still 2.5 weeks left in the window. But I do get, it feels like a bit of a climb down, and it does feel a little bit desperate. But like, I don't know. we'll see. We'll see what happens.
He's got a few years on Bamford, in fairness. He's 28 rather than 31. So I guess there's more hope of overcoming injury problems. And we have had, over the past couple of years, we have had Byram and Solomon who arrived, and you're thinking neither of these are going to be fit at all. And actually, we've managed to get pretty good minutes out of them both.
Yeah.
In Sam Byram's case, probably more than I would say even he expected. So there's a lot of ifs, aren't there? If he can be fit, then it's probably a decent move, but it feels like a gamble to be going into the season with him as the main man, if that's indeed what he is. And also, he's not had any kind of, I know footballers keep themselves fit, but he's not played football in a competitive or even semi-competitive game for a long while, has he, at this stage? So you wouldn't imagine he'll be able to drop straight into the team. So there are many aspects of it that aren't great, I would say.
I think the way that we're talking about it feels quite underwhelming. We're kind of going, well, could be one thing, could be the other. It seems like to me anyway, it seems like a little bit of a panic. It doesn't seem to me like the stars have aligned with regards to what he wants wage wise and where we are in our search for a striker. It just feels a little bit panicky. But like we just alluded to, we'll see. Like if he stays fit and scores a few goals, then it'll be well worth the punt, as it were.
I remember when Noel Hunt arrived, there was a bit of a like, oh, okay. He was good a few years ago. Yeah, maybe that will work. And it didn't work.
No, it didn't.
But but it feels a little bit like that in some aspects, that you kind of go, I remember seeing him do some good stuff once.
But maybe the positive for yourself as well, Michael, as a stylesman, he's going to bring some delicious fashion into the Leeds dressing room. Maybe that'll rub off on some of the other players. That'll go down incredibly well when he's not scored any goals. I hope he continues to do that sort of stuff, because people will love it. Yes, they will.
I feel certain of that. I don't know where to put it. I've talked myself into it a bit, because we briefly mentioned it the other day, because there were some vague links, but I sort of assumed it was probably a bit of agent trying to drum up some interest. Then we heard he was in for a medical. So I've managed to, at points, persuade myself this is a good idea.
Yeah, and it's maybe a good idea if we get some good creativity in behind him. And so we've been linked over the last couple of days to Noah Okafor. Chris, yeah?
Yep.
Tell us about him. You're our Italian correspondent. He's over at AC Milan. What do we know about him? Could he be the person who puts goals on for our new starting striker, Dominic Calvert-Lewin?
He's not I think Calvert-Lewin will rely on a lot of very accurate and crosses being rained down on him. Okafor is a little bit more chaotic.
Okay.
In that sense.
Right.
In that he's more of a dribbler. He's probably closer to Ramazani than he would be to, like, I don't know, Stuart Downing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, I would quite like to sign Okafor, but again, he's not played all that much football in the last 12 months, and he's got a bit of the injury proneness about him too. So he looked really good whenever Milan signed him. They signed him a couple of years ago, and that first season he looked quite good, but they had Pulisic and Leao. So Leao was like very inconsistent, but was possibly one of the best wingers in Europe for a while. And then Pulisic has just done very well since he's gone there, so he's been behind them. Plus they had a couple of other wingers too. And then last year they sent him out on loan to Napoli, and he didn't really play in the second half of the season. So he's available. I can't imagine he'd be too expensive as the thing, but it makes me think that if they signed him, it would be him plus another attacker. And the reason I also think that is because in Baron Cross's piece in The Athletic about The Athletic did a piece about sort of the hopeometer, they called it, of teams in the Premier League this season, and they used a little blurb from each of the club's writers. And in Baron's piece about Leeds, he said the 3 attackers still to arrive, which makes me think that there are 3 attackers coming in the door.
I think one of them was Muniz, though, probably.
Well, then, if it's not Muniz, it's Calvert-Lewin. Mm-hmm. So, you know, they still want 3 attackers in that sense, or is he just pretending to speak from a fan's perspective?
Would Okafor be the likely Solomon replacement then from last season? We saw him destroying Schmidt a bit the other week, didn't we, down that side? Or would he likely be playing somewhere else?
He's probably going to play on the left wing. So, yes, but I have a feeling that Leeds are probably going to try and loan out Ramazani if they get 2 wingers. So he might be the Ramazani replacement, and then they just sort of maybe split the load among the wingers. Might sign him and another winger, I think.
Is that what you think? So it wouldn't be a striker, a 10 and a winger. It would be Dominic Calvert-Lewin and 2 wingers is what you think would be the case for our attacking options.
Yeah, because they seem to have played 3 midfielders quite a lot. And then this is in pre-season, if we're going to go off pre-season alone, and then whenever they have played with that sort of 4-2-3-1, it's been Pero behind a striker. So maybe that's what we're going to go for this year.
And I've just looked him up. He's 6 foot. He's a winger and he's 6 foot, apparently.
Yeah.
So there we go.
FC Big Bastards.
And he's played for Red Bull as well, so you wonder if that's any kind of link back in slightly. We don't entirely know if we're linking him with their scouting systems or anything at this stage, do we? Or if he's on anyone's radar because of that.
Yeah, he's quite good. I think he's just been a little bit unlucky with, first of all, a couple of injuries and just the situations he's found himself in. At Milan, he had 2 in-form wingers ahead of him, and then at Napoli, and plus Milan were kind of terrible last season for the most part. And then at Napoli, they were a team going for winning the league, and he just never really broke into it.
And maybe he will, if he does indeed get through the door, maybe he'll make his debut in the Carabao Cup against away at Sheffield Wednesday, and maybe be marked by a little-known Liam Cooper. Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, we don't need to go into their struggles because we don't know necessarily the details of it, but that feels like a very appealing away day, and it feels like a winnable Carabao Cup game. And as well, in my head, I was like, give us loads of tickets and we'll give you loads of money. To those guys. Oh no, it just go up to Chancery, won't it? So maybe not.
Yeah, he will just make this like £80 or something, won't he?
Spend it all on tuna.
An attendance of 6,000 or something.
Yeah,
likely for this one probably. It's a fun-ish kind of game.
Yeah,
I suppose maybe not. Chris Kirkland wouldn't judge it to be a fun sort of game, but it might be our last chance to play him for a while, given the way they seem to be heading. So enjoy it. Although half the stadium's shut, isn't it, as well? I think one of the stands has had to close.
The north stand has been condemned, hasn't it?
Yeah, and the other end should also have been condemned at various points as well. The whole stadium needs probably shutting down. But, it's fun-ish, I suppose, as League Cup games go.
And we were saying on the show the other day that we want a winnable run to at least the quarter-final. I think it was Rob who was saying he wants at least a quarter-final in either the Carabao or the FA Cup. And Wednesday away should be fine.
Yeah, plus we've got a little bit more of a squad than we have done in maybe some previous Premier League years.
That's true.
Like you could conceivably rotate in the 2 centre-back positions, and you could play our backup. You could play our 4th choice keeper, Ilan Melia, in that game. 5th choice if you count Rory Mahadi, and a couple of players in midfield you can rotate. So it's not like you're not throwing Robbie Gotts and Ollie Casey in against them. Like you've got Premier League quality, lower end Premier League quality players to play.
And Barry Bannon will be back, so we get maybe one last look at that head of his in the flesh.
Yeah, yes, very much so. And yeah, it's maybe a good thing that we don't have to utilise some of the under-21s. They took a bit of a hiding the other day away at Boston 4-0. Chris, you said you watched this. You said that they played quite well, though.
I watched the extended highlights. They played quite well in the first half, and I think the 4th goal in the end, which came in the 93rd minute, sums up the difference between the levels, the physicality, where the Boston striker basically just pushed the centre back off the ball and ran in and scored. And like, there's not really much you can do. Like they're big boys compared to these children. They said it was quite a young team, but it's not even just that. You had like Harry Gray and Sam Chambers come back in. Or not Sam Chambers, sorry, Reece Chadwick come back in, and Rory Mahadi, who hadn't played with the under-21s all summer. Like they've been away with the first team. And the first goal, I'm trying to remember the first goal. I do remember the second goal is they lose the ball in midfield and it's one pass and they're straight through, and then you can kind of see that their heads go. And I would say that the under-21s will probably improve as the season goes on, because you've got young players coming up from the under-18s. You've got Johnny House in there. You've got senior players who've been away with the senior team. It's probably going to take a couple of months to gel. So I don't think it's a precursor of things to come.
No, hopefully not. But what is a precursor of things to come is about what we're going to talk about now, which is about the magazine. So we very rarely on this show talk about the other arms of the Square Ball enterprise. The magazine's been going since 1989, and we want to talk about that stuff today. So I'll throw to you straight away, Chris, on this, being such a big part of the magazine. Issue 1 is out. It's going to print tomorrow.
Yes.
So Friday, so we're recording this on Thursday, so it's going out to print today, as it were, and it's going to be on sale at the Everton game, and then it's going to be on sale at the Newcastle game as well. But just talk to me, what is inside? What can you, what little peek behind the curtain can you give us today?
80 pages full of optimism. That's, if you ask me to describe it.
Yes.
In one sentence, that's what I would say. 80 pages of optimism.
So with that sentence, I know that Michael hasn't had too much to do with this one.
Well, I haven't read the editor's note yet.
I actually said on that, I'm going to try to enjoy it for at least a month.
A month.
That's my limit. I'm setting myself. Going to enjoy it for a month and I'll see where I am. Because we do need to be in the Premier League, is the point I've made.
Yes.
We've got to be here. I don't want any reminiscing about how good the Championship was. It's not good. It's not a good place to be long term. So I'm going to enjoy it. But I know myself well enough to know that I'm not going to be enjoying it if we have 0 points on the board and we're into September. I'll be like, oh no,
it's happening again.
Here we are for a long stint.
Yeah, I think though, if like we want to talk about optimism, if the 3 teams who went up this year go back down again, and that happens 3 years in a row, just turn it into the NFL and I don't know, have 16 teams and shut the whole thing off because there's just no point at that point.
But do put us in it because we do deserve to be in it.
Well,
even if we've been relegated, come on, we're a big deal.
We're a big deal, but based on what?
Being a big deal.
All right.
Come on, no one wants to watch Bournemouth. Come on, get them out, get those chumps out, get Brighton out.
So what have you written for this issue, Chris?
So the feature that I've written is about going to watch Leeds play Milan in Dublin. And the day that it was, a great day that it was, the day that began with seeing Eddie Gray on Shelburne Road, taking at least 50 photographs with people, and Adam Pope walking alongside him, having to take most of those photographs, while people taking the photo and going, I recognise you as well. Afterwards, yes, that was fun. The whole day was just great. Dublin was, because of where the ground is, we parked at the Herbert Park Hotel, which is quite close to it, but the Royal Dublin Horse Show was also on, which is a very different crowd to that what you would get watching Leeds United.
I imagine.
So there is in the Ballsbridge area, there's like a couple of pubs and a couple of fancy looking cafes, and the Gilets and Range Rovers were heading towards the cafes, and most of the Leeds fans were just walking straight past them and heading to, I think it was Miri Max was the pub down there. So it was quite an interesting crowd. Lots of big boots and gilets and very fancy, weird looking trousers.
From being at that game, how many people would you say had travelled to it, and how many were, locals, as in from Ireland?
I think it was probably somewhere between 80 to 90%. I'd say 80-20 maybe. It was locals or Irish or had travelled down, because the section that I was in was where the seats had gone on sale the earliest, so for like season ticket holders and stuff. And even that section was a mix of Irish and English Leeds fans. So you had, I think the rest of the ground was, but do you know what? It was really weird. There's people like, obviously just bought tickets in the day, and there's a guy walking around in a Chelsea shirt.
What?
I know.
That doesn't feel sensible.
No. Yeah.
Just asking for a fight.
In my mind, this is a little kid. Was this a fully grown?
No, he was like 24, an American.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe he might have thought, it's going to be a friendly atmosphere. It's just going to be some football fans having a nice day. Risky.
It was I would say it was majority, probably about 80% Irish Leeds fans.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's funny when you hear about games potentially being played elsewhere. It's generally somewhere like Saudi Arabia or something. I'm always like, oh no, you can't be doing that. But weirdly, if Leeds said they were going to play a League Cup game in Dublin, I'd kind of be all right with it. I'd be like, well, but maybe that's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, because there's history there.
Yeah.
They're trying to manufacture history in Saudi Arabia.
It would feel very different, wouldn't it, if it was like, this is going to be played. It's going to be Leeds against Brighton in Qatar, and you'd be like, oh. No, not for me, thank you. But yeah, I'm up for more games in Dublin.
Yeah. Well, if the Irish government ever need any sports washing, Leeds United, that's your man.
I'm guessing
all over it.
Ireland doesn't probably have any other stadiums fully equipped for a Leeds game, do they?
Well, Croke Park was.
Yeah.
I sort of said, if you want to be really ambitious, you could fill Croke Park 82,500. You really want to go for it?
Are you allowed to play football there?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think there is the foreign games rule because of the rugby being there in the late 2000s whenever Lansdowne was being redeveloped, and then the football played there for a while. But I have a feeling that Leinster rugby might have played there recently enough as well, even while Lansdowne was reopened. So why not? Yeah.
In other rugby news vaguely related to Leeds, did you see Red Bull have got a team now?
They bought Newcastle.
Yeah, and they have immediately called them Newcastle Red Bull.
Have they?
Which does make you wonder how much their strategy has changed, because we were trying to convince ourselves, weren't we, going, that's just a shirt thing. They're not even interested in changing names anymore. And then straight away they've come and bought a rugby team and gone, yeah, we'll just call it that.
Yeah, that's not good.
Makes me a bit concerned.
But if you ever look at rugby union, like some of the South African teams they're just named after sponsors. I'm pretty sure one of them was just called like Vodacom.
So you're saying there's a rich history of this in the rugby game, whereas not so much in the British football sphere.
From the town of Total Network Solutions.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a good point.
you get like Bayer Leverkusen as well, don't you? And there's a history of it, but it feels a bit different if it's like historically teams that were connected to the local community and stuff, to someone just going, I don't think Red Bull have got much of a link to Leeds.
No.
For example, or Newcastle.
Yeah. Anyway, we've wandered away from optimism, which is where we started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our final season as Leeds United, so let's get back to that.
So yeah, with just the final question on Dublin, the Aviva Stadium, what was the atmosphere like within the stadium? Because it's one of those bowly types of places.
With a small end.
Yeah, a few people were asking, like, what's the deal with the small end?
Yeah,
and
that tiny little stand, yeah.
It's to do with the sunlight on the houses behind it. If they'd built it the whole way up, those houses wouldn't have had any natural sunlight.
Right.
So they had to basically build it that way.
That's a very kind concession from stadium builders. You'd think they just go, fuck off. We're having our big stand.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that would happen too often around here. Do you remember those renders of that big, gaudy monstrosity that Man United is supposed to be building? That's going to cast most of the Northwest in shadow. They don't give a fuck.
They're not building that.
No, they're not.
Yeah. Well, like, I think you have to realise as well, the houses in that area are a clean fortune. Like, you're talking almost London prices.
Really, really?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Yeah, silly money. It's Dublin.
All right, yeah. Fair.
Dublin's stupidly expensive. So I think if, the only other option would be to buy all those houses
yeah,
and build that stand, and you're talking like, I don't know, millions upon millions on top of that just to build that stand. I've always wanted to sit in that stand, but it's usually where the away fans go.
Right.
There's just something quite silly about it, because you're just in like this little pocket, which you feel like should be like a National League stadium, and then you've got like 50,000 people looking at you from the other side.
But a good atmosphere. Good atmosphere.
Yeah, it wasn't quite. It wasn't the bear pit that Elland Road was, and I think a lot of that is people going to their first games and people being in sort of unfamiliar surroundings and unfamiliar settings. There was a bit of the Wembleyness about it, but without the abject misery that is involved in going to Wembley. It was a really pleasant and like positive atmosphere, and there's lots of people I was speaking to who had brought kids to their first ever matches, and there's a chance they'll be waiting a long time to get them inside Elland Road, or the cost involved in going to Elland Road from Ireland. Like, even on match days, you get people meeting up in and around Belfast and Dublin and other cities in big groups to watch games. Like, these aren't just your average armchair fans who go and support Man City or whoever. Like, if Newcastle end up winning the league, I'll start wearing Newcastle shirts. The Leeds thing is passed down through generations.
Yeah.
Like, I can speak for that myself.
Yeah, fabulous.
And your dad got to meet Eddie Gray.
Yeah, he did. That's what we were saying about the photos. We were walking down, and I was like, "Dad, there's Eddie Gray," and he was like, "Where?" I was like, "There." He's like, "Go get a photo." And he kind of hesitated for a second. I was like, "Go get a photo." And he walked up to him. Like, at that point, I think we could have just turned around, got back in the car, and drove home, because, like, when else are you going to get to meet Eddie Gray? Like, I think it's his favorite ever Leeds player as well. So What a start to the day.
I love that. Any day that involves meeting Eddie Gray is a good day. Full stop.
Yeah.
It's like when you the parade, when you looked up and saw Eddie Gray on the bus, just celebrating the team that's just won promotion and stuff. But there's a huge part of me just went, "He's Eddie Gray."
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, amazing. So what else is in the magazine? What can our readers expect when they open issue 1?
We've got plenty. I mean, at the front, we've started putting in new little sections, little short fanzine bits. We've got some stuff on eBay tat, we're calling it, just random stuff we found on eBay.
Amazing.
That we've bought in the past. We've made our Big Lads 11, which is not just people who are 6'5", some people who are 6 foot wide. Who might have played for Leeds. We're going for a 3-5-2.
Sean Gregan get in?
Sean Gregan did get in.
Good. That's
That was the first name that popped into my head. Yeah.
As soon as you said wide, I was like, there's none wider.
I'd say you could probably make a decent fist of guessing the 11. I mean, you could probably guess the goalkeeper, but the rest of it, there's reasons for it, put it like that.
Okay.
We've got some YouTube nostalgia. We've got some from the archive, which I always enjoy. Like something from a TSB issue could be from 2009 or it could be from 1992. This one's from 1994, and it's about the field signing of Thomas Scaravi, and it's mental. I love it. There are some slightly risque pieces from the old mags, but this one's just about on the right side of the line.
We're not trying to get cancelled. Issue 1.
It's aged okay. It's aged okay.
Terrific.
Yeah.
And it says there that Rob's done a bit on the old Viduka kit that's maybe been replicated for this season.
Yeah. So that I think he'll be on to talk about that before the Arsenal game, or
Yes,
after the Arsenal game rather.
Yep.
Which is the one that we sort of associate it with. I saw quite a lot of people wearing the new version of the Viduka kit, as I've called it, in Dublin, but I saw quite a lot of people wearing the old one to try and show off that, yeah, I've got that one. I was very tempted to do it myself, but I forgot to put it in my bag to bring over with me.
I've got that one in the loft, but it was a charity shop purchase in later years, and I think it's like a 2XL or something. So it's sort of millennium sizing too, so it's like an absolute tent. So it can't get warm, but it's in the loft.
Mine's the other way. Mine's from when I was a bona fide child.
Sprayed on.
Yeah.
You can still wear it.
Could I?
Wear it as a little belly top.
You'd be able to tell what I had for breakfast if I wore it. But and so what else is there? There's a piece here on the prep sheet that says opening matches.
Yes. So Will Keeney is one of our new writers for the season ahead. He has written a piece about the optimism of home matches, and that is through the prism of the game that I'm sure everyone remembers fondly. Leeds won Borough 0 in August 2014.
Billy Sharp.
Yep. Dave Hockaday's only win as Leeds manager.
Yep.
He wasn't given the time.
He was given far too much fucking time.
He was given... Did he manage 8 games? 7 games? Something like that?
6?
Wasn't it 6? Yeah.
Oh, was it 6?
I think it was 6.
It was only,
okay.
It was his only league win. So he had 4, and then they beat Accrington Stanley in the cup as well.
Maybe I'm including cup games.
Was the Accrington Stanley win the Berardi scissor
was.
kick to the chest?
It was.
What a fun 6 games, though. Any other opening home matches that spring to mind from you guys?
If we're talking optimism, Lamine Sacco's debut.
Yes.
Seeing him and going, he's class, this guy.
Was that Man City at home?
It was Newcastle. Man City was the year before.
Was it?
I think that was Nick Barmby's debut.
Yes,
we beat
you're
Man
right.
City. We drew with Newcastle, but Kewell had gone and Lamine Sacco came in. It was like, this guy's just as good. What a season it's going to be. And then like 3 games later, you were like,
Okay.
no, it's not. He's not actually any good, and we might be getting relegated.
He made headlines that weekend ahead of another big Premier League signing that summer. That was Cristiano Ronaldo to Manchester United.
Was
Was that the same year?
Whatever happened to that guy?
Yeah, never heard of him. The one that springs to my mind has nothing to do with football, really. It was the Leeds 1, Burnley 1. Silvestri scored a late equaliser.
The goalkeeper?
No, not Silvestri.
Antonucci.
Antonucci. Pardon me. I knew it was an Italian-flavoured name. But the reason why it always sticks in my brain is at the time I was doing the Yorkshire Tea adverts, and it came on the big screen at half-time, and I was so excited. I was like, I've played at Ellen Road. It's my big moment.
Was that Uwe Rosler?
Yeah, I think it might have been. And that was the season that eventually Antonucci would not play as much because he'd scored too many goals.
The great bonus system we had in place where...
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Ended with Steve Evans in charge.
Yeah.
Good times.
To tie it back into Everton, the one that I think of is the first game after COVID, which was Everton at home.
2-2.
And it absolutely pissed down. I remember selling the mag and standing outside the East stand, maybe, selling the mag, and like I looked like I was wearing PVC at the blue Leeds Carajo t-shirt on.
It was to my disappointment I found out you weren't. Thought you'd gone for it.
That was
maybe with Calvert-Lewin coming in, maybe we can start to look at some more exciting outfits,
some more risque merch. That was the game. I think Click and Rafinha scored, didn't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, that season started with such hope. I remember I think we spoke about this not long ago. It might have been on a member show, where at the start of that season, because of what happened the season before, where we finished 9th, I went into that season thinking, there's only one way this is going, and it's Europe. And it didn't.
It did not.
No.
Opening game, Chris, just to finish up here for us. We've had a piece of narcissism from myself. Michael has talked about Lamine Sacco, and Will Keeney talked about David Hockaday and Billy Sharp's big moments. For yourself?
Other than Everton, it's a bit basic, but Leeds 3, Stoke 1 under Bielsa.
That was the one that I was trying to push for one of you to say.
That's just, it'll live with me forever.
Same. In the sun, everything changed.
It was unbelievable. I think there was a reason that it might have been whenever the anniversary came on, but I think my favourite part about that is the third goal, because they made it 2-1 and then it was Barry Douglas's whipped across right onto the head of Liam Cooper. Beautiful. It certainly was.
Right, so tell us where you can get the magazine from, please, Chris.
If you're at Ellen Road on Monday night, you'll get it in the Lowfields Tunnel or various locations across the eastern side of the ground.
Who might be at the Lowfields Tunnel?
Me and Oddie, probably, depending on how many people we've got working. One of us might get sent out elsewhere. It'll be Oddie. I don't leave the tunnel. It's one of my red lines.
It's your safe space.
I'm not going out of that tunnel. So bar around the club shop ish, and then around the middle of the east stand are your reliable spots, and then sometimes Cop Gates as well.
Yep, and if you're not able to get to Ellen Road, or if you live a bit further afield,
you can get single issues online at thesquareball.net, or if you are a TSB Plus subscriber, you can get the digital mag. But if you get TSB Plus mag, which is like an extra £8 a year.
Yeah, we give the mag. If you get TSB Plus, you get the mag for like not much extra, essentially. So if you get TSB Plus with the mag, it costs you £67.98 for the year, so it's every mag delivered. That's in the UK. If you're in Europe, I don't know, some other price.
Right.
Royal Mail's expensive, but that gives you merch discounts. It gives you an extra podcast every week. It gives you access to the live match ball. You get daily email. So there's loads of good stuff there.
Yep. So if you go to...
And doing that as well, you will avoid this year's price rise, because we are going to £3 this year. Our first price rise since 2019.
The scandal.
£3. Sorry,
Disgraceful.
Sorry, everybody.
All because you went to Albania.
It's to pay for your prison visit. So if you go to thesquareball.net /plus, you will see all of these different options to get the magazine or to get TSB Plus listed there. Right. Thank you very much, Chris. Yes, we will check back in with Rob and a similar style show before the Newcastle game to talk about more things in the magazine. But for now, thank you very much, and we will speak to you very soon. Thank you.
The Square Ball Podcast.